Hi, welcome back to Plan 9 Crunch. I'm Joe Gibson, this is Doug Gibson.
Hi.
And we like to talk about cult films on this channel. Did you know that in the 2000s there was almost a mainline entry official in the Godzilla series, a movie starring Bruce Campbell?
No, I had no idea.
Well, okay, he wasn't necessarily specifically completely lined up for the part, but they were thinking of him while they were writing it, I think. So, in the 2000s, right after the 1998 Abomination, the film rights were kind of complicated. I mean, I suppose Sony could have made more movies, but in any case, Toho started back up with their Millennium series of Godzilla movies. There was 1999's Godzilla 2000, confusing name for it coming out the year before, but whatever. And from there, the timeline we are in, they made a few more movies overseas. However, the distribution of 2000 was in America. And so, it almost happened that the Americans made a sequel to that. Let's see. Michael Schlesinger, who wrote the American version of Godzilla 2000, conceived this project. It was a joke between him and John Davidson, a friend of his, joking about how they and another person could do the next American one. They thought about it, realized they actually had a good project there, and so they started on it. They pitched the idea to the head of production at Columbia Pictures, estimating the budget around $20 million. Would that have been enough, you think, for a Godzilla movie
I think 20
in 2000?
is enough for any movie.
Enough for any movie? Okay.
Yeah.
So, Schlesinger's approach here is interesting in that I see where he's coming from, but I don't necessarily agree with it. But maybe I would have for this film. He says, I took many of the Godzilla archetypes and turned them inside out. The characters in the film are supposed to be lighthearted, but the monster action to be serious. He says the problem with most Godzilla films is the human characters take themselves so seriously. And that's a large part of why the monster scenes seem funny by comparison. What do you think about that?
They wanted Bruce Campbell to star in this, right?
They did, yeah.
And it wouldn't have been taken seriously.
Yep.
Because the most serious Campbell gets is like Evil Dead 2 or Evil Dead 1. So this almost sounds like it would have been more bizarre than Godzilla.
Oh, it would have been very bizarre. We'll get into that in a second. Evil Dead versus Godzilla would have been fun, though. I mean, that's never been on the table for anything.
Is Godzilla
but
going to help Bruce Campbell
that
fight
would have
the
been
Deadites?
that would be a really fun thing.
But how is he going to win Godzilla's trust?
I don't know. Anyway, back to this movie. Godzilla Reborn does not have any Evil Dead stuff. Let's see. The main character was a female television reporter who was on vacation in Hawaii and is tired of doing fluff and wants to do more serious journalism. That's not Bruce Campbell, obviously. That's the next one. The male lead is a skirt-chasing smartass, quotes, who owns the hotel where the main character is staying at and seems to share the same interest the female lead has for him.
You know what this reminds me of a little bit?
What?
Of Bubba Hotep, in which there's a mummy, right? It's a mummy, and Bruce Campbell plays Elvis in a retirement home.
He says he's Elvis. Whether or not you believe him is up to you.
Well, the other guy says he's John Kennedy, too, the African-American actor. I think it's Ossie Davis, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you're going to make a Godzilla movie with Bruce Campbell in it unless it's going to be total tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, it would be completely tongue-in-cheek because a convention for scientists would be going on at the hotel they're staying at. A returning character from Godzilla 2000 would have been one of those scientists, but some other bit parts would have been a general who was a quote, Bronx Jew who peppers his dialogue with Yiddish, and a chief of police who drinks on duty because there's never any crime. That's the kind of tone we're going with in this movie. And
did you have was there any idea of what Toho felt about this?
I'll get to that in a second, but first, Bruce Campbell, Jamie Lee Curtis, Scott Bakula, Christopher Lee, Leonard Nimoy, Ken Takakura, Bob Picardo, Belinda Blasky, and Dick Miller. Those are the people that they were proposing for the film. I don't know if they reached out to any of them, but yeah.
Well, that would have been given it more heft, I guess. But there have been stars and bombs, too.
Toho liked the script for the most part. There was one thing they didn't like. Godzilla dies halfway through and gets brought back by the military. That's why it's called Godzilla Reborn. But they changed it to a coma. Toho felt confident about that much, at least. And it ended up falling through.
How close did it come to being made?
I think we just got a script. I think. I don't think the script has been officially unveiled
I
though.
think we should make with Clay or something our own 6-minute version of Godzilla Reborn, and I would provide the voice of Bruce.
You'd be Bruce, okay.
I'd have to work on it.
There'd be a lava bat called Meba as the villain. Would you want to play that as well?
Well, I don't think the Mama Bat is going to speak.
I don't know. Probably not.
Of course, we'd have to keep this under wraps because they'd probably sue us.
We can just change the names of the characters. That's already been used. Can't use Gigantus.
I once saw on YouTube, it was so boring. Somebody had remade Harry Potter 7 with clay. It lasted like almost 3 hours. I thought this will be cool until I started to watch it and couldn't stand it after a while. So if we make it, it should only be 6 minutes. We don't want to torture people.
Probably.
What if we get Bruce Campbell to voice it? He's got tons of money. Maybe we do it for free.
Well, but then that's some red tape on this whole thing. What do you think of the Godzilla Reborn pitch?
Well, I think the plot you described might be interesting. I'm not sure making a semi-comedy would have worked.
Well, I'm kind of picturing something like Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, where the human bits are funny, but the monster bits are scary.
Okay,
I think that's what they were going for.
So you're saying that the monster would retain his or her dignity. I never know what the sex is of Godzilla. Okay.
I think it's supposed to be male, but
okay,
there's contradictory evidence.
Yeah, because the monsters in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, they never quite catch them, but they're not made fun of. If you watch your typical movie like, what's that horrible? There's a horrible Mexican version of Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. I reviewed it.
Yeah, I don't know the title.
And then there's one from Egypt even too. See, the problem in those kind of movies are they make the monsters look foolish. Now, I can understand in a great show like The Munsters is okay. If you're making a feature and you're riffing off monsters, you need the talents of an Abbott and Costello. I think Bruce Campbell could have probably pulled it off. You know?
Probably, yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis, I'm not sure. I don't know. She does do comedy, so it's possible.
And that's sort of where I see where he's coming from, Schlesinger. It's just, he kind of communicates a disdain for the human characters of Godzilla movies to say that they have to be comedic in this movie.
Yeah.
He probably could have pulled off, it could have been good. I mean, King Kong vs. Godzilla is a satire comedy, and it's very good, but at the same time...
I mean, what's that, when Frankenstein conquers the world? It kind of reminds me of that, how they get so bizarre, talking about Nazis and stuff like that, and some kids still alive. I could have seen the movie go along that line a little bit, but more comedy, because that's a bizarre movie to me. Too bad that what's his name died 50 years ago. If he was still alive, he'd have been cool in that movie. Nick Adams could have played the scientist or something, you know. And he could have riffed his part by saying, "I've been through this before, right?"
That would have been pretty funny, yeah.
I was thinking if they wanted to be fun, they could. Well, you wouldn't have a Donald Pleasance, but some kind of Donald Pleasance type character, which would have been Nick Adams had he not died a long time earlier.
Well, Christopher Lee was in this list, and he was also approached for the role of Dr. Loomis in Halloween. I don't think he would have been in this movie, and he wasn't in Halloween, obviously, but still, it's that kind of connection.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I wonder how Christopher Lee would have done in Halloween. I mean, Donald Pleasance was not considered a huge star. He was considered a star, but he just nailed that role. You know, and so, but you sometimes wonder what somebody else would have done.
Yeah.
What would the monster look like in this movie with Campbell?
I don't think that we necessarily have any kind of reconstruction of it, but just picture a bat made of lava flying over Honolulu.
Bat made of lava flying. So you told me it takes place in Honolulu?
Hawaii, a Hawaiian island, I think specifically Honolulu.
Funny if it took place in the deep south somewhere.
The deep south somewhere.
Yeah,
okay.
because they could use the southern accents, you know, and things like that.
Yeah, I suppose.
Or in Jersey. Could have been lots of Jersey people fighting it, you know, or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a comedy. Would Godzilla have spawned anything in this movie?
No, they probably would have wanted to go pretty far away from the 98 film. It probably would have been the same suit as in Godzilla 2000, so green and spiky.
And Toho would have been okay with this.
Toho would have been okay with it, yeah.
Wow, I bet you 10 years later they would have denied it. But I don't know. Well, the world has lost the potential of a Bruce Campbell Godzilla film.
It has, yeah.
He's still alive. The dream could still happen. Except that we'd have to battle between the legendary Godzilla and the Toho Godzilla.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell in the sequel to -1. Bruce Campbell could play an American reporter.
Or General MacArthur.
Oh, good. That's perfect. He kind of looks like MacArthur, too. He could play MacArthur.
He'd still be there in that time period.
Wow, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be. Or Godzilla could be a secret agent to win the Korean War or something, all right?
That's also a possibility.
It boggles the mind, the possibilities you have with that
Yeah.
monster. Well, Joe, do you have any more interesting tidbits about this?
That's really all I have. We don't have the script available, so just the overview.
So, guys, that was the potential Bruce Campbell starring Godzilla film that was talked about. It even made it past a meeting. Probably made it to a lunch or two. But in the world of Hollywood, that's kind of where it stopped. It's some officious, pushy secretary to a producer who didn't want to hear about this anymore. So the world lost Bruce Campbell in the Godzilla film. Joe, you want to wrap up here?
Yeah, sure. Thank you all for watching. Here at Plan 9 Crunch, we have the videos here that you can like. You can subscribe as well. We also have a Facebook page where we'll post stuff from here and from our conventional blog, plan9crunch.com. Look into any of those as you wish, and that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.